And that should be it. All right. So we may begin today's afternoon session. We have a guest lecturer, Anđelka Zečević, from Mathematical Institute of Serbian Academy of Sciences and Arts. She's, in the first place, a scholar, a mathematician, a programmer, and a great person. And she's the latest addition to our digital epigraphy project, Roman Inscriptions in Serbia. And today she will train us on how to use GitHub. And without further ado, I will give word to her so that she can begin. Anđelka, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Dragana. Thank you for kind introduction, and above all, thank you for inviting me to be a part of this workshop. I will do my best to navigate you through the GitHub ecosystem, and it might not be as short introduction as intended, but I hope the questions we will cover can be helpful to you. And please feel free to interrupt me at any time. It may be more interesting if we make the tutorial interactive. So the questions I would like to answer are focused on the version control ecosystem and some technicalities related to Git and GitHub platform, and common vocabulary terminology we will use around these topics, and we will end this session with some hands-on task and a creation on our own GitHub repository. Before we start, I would like to point to some practices quite common in the software development community, and I think that they can extrapolate to other domains well, including digital epigraphy. First of all, software developers and even more their managers like to decompose tasks into smaller parts. That is something we call incremental development. And for example, if we need to create a web page, website, we can identify tasks such as structuring the content and layout creation, adding styles through colors, nice fonts or images, implementing functionalities such as a newsletter or animation upon some user action, and so on. Benefits of these smaller tasks are that they can be implemented and tested more easily, and later updated or excluded more effectively. Also, organizing tasks in this manner enables more effective collaboration and more faster coding due to parallelization possibilities, and contributes directly to the code quality. And as a result of these collaboration and incremental development ambitions, as a result, we have a large number of files and their versions that are constantly updated. So we need to be careful not to override or to lose something. And there are more challenges if code goes bigger, and if team goes larger, and therefore we need tools and methodology that can support us in these ambitions, and that is the place for version control systems. As their name implies, that are systems able to track changes to files over time, and they can be aware of who did the changes and when, and what actually the change represents. And we can imagine a small 4 members large team working on the joint proposal doc file. And let's say that the version 1 of this proposal is the draft made by Henry. We can say that the version 2 of this proposal is the budget added by Luca, and the version 3 of this proposal can be introduction and cover letter added by Jenny, and version 4, the final version, can be the final proposal version ready for a submission made by Nora. So if we name these versions, version 1, version 2, version 3, and version 4, and if we assign them these descriptions like draft, budget added, intro and cover letter added, ready for submission, we actually create snapshots, so-called commits, that represent the project of the content of the project at a specific point of time. And that is very important concept in the Git version control community. And we can actually talk about 4 commits long chain that represent the previous activity. And as said, each commit is represented by unique identifier, which is quite a long alphanumeric identifier, commit message that describes the activity, and timestamp that relates to the moment when the change happened, and author that represent the name of the author who made the change. And each, in a way, we can track our projects by analyzing different commits and different contents they represent. One additional concept that is important for version control story is a repository, and we can think about repositories as folder-like structures that contains not only the project files but also their history. That means that we can return at each point in time and have a look at files and their content relevant for that moment. That means if we delete the file or would like to return to the previous version of the project, we can do it easily by traversing and going back in this repository timeline. And Git is a free and open source, the probably most popular version control system, as stated on the official website, able to handle everything from small to very large projects with speed and efficiency. And it is invented almost 20 years ago by Linus Torvalds, famous for the creation of Linux operating system, and Git can be downloaded from the official website and installed for different platforms like Linux or Windows or Mac. As we said, that Git is free and open source version control system, but I would like to comment shortly on this distributed aspect of Git that is important for the further story. Actually, being distributed a version control system means that each developer has a complete copy of the project on their local machines, and that this enables work and offline work at first, and faster operations. On the other side, we have centralized version control systems and a team of developers working on the only one version of a file or directory or any other content. So being distributed actually provides more flexibility for developers, and we will see that this design does not influence the capacities of tracking changes and making them accessible to the users. Benefits of using a Git are numerous. First of all, we have a comprehensive history behind each project, and we can track its development and revert any changes if needed. We can organize better our teams and collaborate more effectively and non-blocking each other's, and even stimulate creativity and working on a side projects within the same projects. So it makes sense to learn about this technology and apply it as a part of everyday working pipeline. So if we can imagine a web-based platform that hosts Git repositories and provide additional tools for collaboration, code reviewing, or project management, we can actually imagine GitHub, a platform that allows developers, or better to say, code enthusiasts, to create, store, manage, and share their code. GitHub is the largest host of source code, supporting more than 100 million users and several millions of open source projects. And it is, of course, accessible to the community via official website. And I think that website. And when we talk about repositories, we can distinguish between public and private repositories. Public repositories are visible to everyone. Everyone can view the content, clone it, contribute to it, and mostly public repositories are free of charge. On the other hand, we have private repositories with limited access to a specified group of users, and sometimes it is needed to ensure the code base confidentiality and security. And mostly these private repositories are part of paid subscription plan, and the price depends on the number of repositories and the team size. Everyone can become a member of GitHub community. There is a quite straightforward sign-up form on their official website, and thanks to the huge GitHub community, documentation related to all aspects of GitHub functionalities are very well covered. So we have also clear instructions on the official website, and I hope that we made through this step prior this workshop, this tutorial. And I will refer to FS GitHub repository in the upcoming examples. As we know, it is large, public, and interesting GitHub repository. And later during the hands-on session, we will learn how we can actually create our own repositories. We will start with some GitHub terminology, and we will go through some actually examples. Here, first of all, we mentioned repository as a folder-like structure that store not only the files but also their history. And if we switch to FS GitHub repository, we actually can see that history consists of 650 different commits. And if we click on this button, that is a button and link, we can actually see all commits contributed to these projects. If I calculated well, almost 11 years old. And for each commit, we can see the first of all, name of contributor. We can see the exact date of the contribution, and we can see the short description of the changes made on the repository. And if we click on that description, we can explore more on the commit details and the changes made. And I will first go through these changes within the presentation, and then we will discuss the changes within the repository. What we can see for each commit, it is we can see the name of the contributor, we can see the time, and we can see this short description related to the task completed, to changes made, in a form of number of files affected by these changes, and also in terms of additions and deletions within the file. We can also see the name of the file that being changed within the commit. And what is important, actually, we can see the exact lines where the change happened. And these red lines actually refer to deleted, red lines refer to deleted lines, and the green lines refer to new lines, new additions. And what also we can see here is the unique identifier of the commit itself, and we can see the browse option. We can browse the repository at that point in the history and to see the exact content of all files. And at some point, in some scenarios, that can be relevant for the development. And if we go to, for example, these commits, we can, as said, see the name of the contributor, we can see the date, we can see here that actually 2 lines were added and 1 line was deleted. And what also we can see that of course, this unique commit identifier, and also if we have permissions, we can comment on these changes. So for each commit, we can stimulate discussion and collaboration between team members. As you can see, I don't have permission to comment on this commit. And here is the Browse Files button that leads us to the history and the version of the projects almost 2 years ago, on this 22nd of July, if I read it well. 4th July 4th in 2022. Okay, so we can track the changes within the repository. and inform ourselves about new and deleted content. And I guess that it is a safe moment to explain what actually a snapshot means, and how we technically implement it. If we track only these additions and deletion on the document level, and memorize only the first version, very first version of the file, we can reconstruct the current content only tracking these addition and deletion from the very first moment. So it is more efficient to not to store each version of file at each moment. We would require more memory, and given that there are more than 1 million projects on the GitHub, that is a huge challenge for the Microsoft, who is the official parent of the GitHub project. So we actually focus on these small changes in terms of addition and deletions with respect to the previous version of file when we try to create a snapshot of our project. Branches are also an important concept in a GitHub ecosystem, and the branch actually represents a separate line of development within a repository. We can imagine so-called master branch, or the main branch, the main line of development within a repository, and mostly that branch contains latest stable version we share with our users, with our customers, and we call it production. Actually, we use it for production or deployment. So branches are deviations from that master branch, and we use them to implement new features, or such as, for example, redesigning some very specific form, or add a new functionality such as search option, or simply work on bugs and fix them. So branches are, as we say, a separate line of development within a repository, and complex projects are described by very complex set of branches, and all these nodes we see here are actually different commits within different branches. And here, this green branch is actually our main master branch. It was, I think, 1 year ago when the GitHub changed the terminology. Previously, the most important branch of the project was called main, and now it is master. And here we can see one extra branch dedicated to bug fixing, and two colored blue branches dedicated to new features, new feature implementations. We also can see these yellowish branch, which actually represents a release branch, and this dark red commit related to hot fixes we are urgently should do, as they are noticed upon project release. So more complex projects are characterized by more complex set of branches. Again, we try to find a trade-off between complexity and, as said, efficiency, as different people should work on different branches. Actually, better to say different sub-teams should work on different branches. And it is important to mention the concept of merging, that is the process of combining changes from one branch to another. And only upon merging we can count on newly implemented features or bug fixes. So merging is important concept in the story related to branches, and we will merge two different branches actually as a part of our hands-on session. If we jump to FS project, we can actually see here on the main project page on the left upper corner, one drop down master is the option we can see, and that actually all the content we see here is the content of the master branch. And if we click on this drop down list, we will see the names of all the branches of we have within our project. And for example, we can click on any of these options and actually jump to that new branch of the project. And of course, I will return to this master main branch just to be sure that we are looking at the latest version. Okay, so it is actually very convenient to monitor branches within the project and to explore the content they contain. What are the core actions related to GitHub ecosystem? We have these repository-related actions such as the creation of new repository or the copying of the existing one. And as a part of our hands-on session, we will see how we can actually create a new repository, and copying of the existing repository is known as cloning. Cloning repository actually means making a copy of existing repository from a version control system to our local machine. And when we clone the repository, when we copy its content, we actually copy all the files from the repository, we copy all commit history, and we copy all branches associated within the repository. And here it is important to notice the separation between something being local and something being remote. We when we work with GitHub, we work with remote repositories accessible by the URL or web addresses, and when we do the cloning, we actually make the copy to our local machine, and when we work, we actually work with our local copies and not affect these remote content. So remote repository is a repository we are cloning from, and the local repository is the copy of the remote repository. And this organization actually influences the way we work with communicate between local and remote versions. Each time we need to synchronize the remote repository and the local repository, we need to fetch the changes. That is the verb we use. We fetch the changes from remote to local repositories. And if we need to submit to contribute our changes to the remote repository, we need to push it. We need to push it. So that is again the action we take within GitHub ecosystem. How we can actually copy the existing repository, it might be familiar, but I will explain. Here on the main page of the repository, we can see this code green button, and if we click on it, we can see actually the several options for cloning. We can programmers like using command-like tools such as SSH or GitHub command line interface. So these, instructions are more relevant for them. And for the general community, we can focus on this download zip option, and it is enough to click on it to download and to clone actually the repository and get a personal local copy. When it comes to the actions related to commits, it is interesting how we actually select files that should be a part of the commit, and how we actually create commits. Selecting files that should be included is known as staging, while creating a commit is known as committing. So before making a commit, developers typically collect the changes they want to include in the commit. Here we can see, for example, local repository, and actually we work with some plain. If we work with some plain files, when we, for example, save the changes we made, we are actually have the option, the possibility to contribute that change to our local repository. We do that by relying on so-called add functionality of Git service. And when we create a staging area, when we add all files we would like to group together that somehow relates to task we are working, or are somehow relevant to be a whole, we can rely on Git commit and contribute the change to the local repository. And once again, everything happens on the local machine. And if we would like to contribute the change globally, we need to push our local commit to the official GitHub repository. So again, we have that push magic word that connects the local representation and the remote representation of repository. And we can include as many files as we want in this staging area, mostly that are files that are somehow connected, that can be atomic, that are related to some specific tasks or changes, for example, to the creation of a new functionality or a redesign of some particular page or something like that. And a good practice is actually to assign as much as possible intuitive this message description to the commit, so everyone can understand only by reading it what it is about. And we experience these actions, we face them when each time we edit, create, or upload new files in the repository. And there is a add file button next to this code button with options to create new file or upload new files. And for each file in the repository, we have this pen icon, which enables us to edit the current file, of course, if we are authorized to do so. And here is the add file button. So we can create new file, we can upload new files. And for example, if we local build. If we click on local build XML file, here is the pen icon, which enables us to edit the file. And of course, there is, as we are not authorized, there is this message that we need to, for this repository, first to propose changes. And we will experiment with these options within our hands-on session. Once again, I would like to reflect on pushing and as important action. And each time we need to send our local commits to a remote repository, we need to activate these pushing mechanisms. And it is actually the only way to transfer our local changes on the remote repository in the context of GitHub. Remote repositories are mostly public, so that is a way to share the content with other team members or collaborators. And it is each time we initiate push request or push action, we need to specify not name of the remote repository and the branch name. Of course, some commits, some changes may be relevant for some branches, but not for others. And there are some best practices for pushing, and it is good to push our changes regularly to keep the remote repository up to date, and of course to facilitate smooth collaboration with others. And I think that I didn't mention that, but remote repositories can serve as a backup of our work. So pushing content regularly enables us to have the copies on the remote repositories, and having the chance to restore the content in case something wrong happens. And that was all I wanted to say about commits. And I also would like to cover these branch-related actions. And as you probably guess, it is important to know how to create new branch, how to switch from one branch to another. And we said that merging is an important concept, so it would be also nice to know how to merge branches. Creation of new branch is accomplished by so-called branch action. Switching from one branch to another is so-called checkout action, and merging branches is known as merge action. And as we saw, actually switching from one branch to another is quite easy, thanks to the interface created by GitHub community. We easily can switch from one branch to another, so that is not complicated. And here, if we click on this number of branches, if we are authorized, we will see a green button named as here a new branch. So we are able to create a new branch for the development of new feature, or for some new experiment somehow relevant to our existing project. So these two actions are actually not so complex, and merging is quite a sensitive action. And as said, each time we complete work on one particular branch, we need to merge it back to our main branch or another target branch to take advantage of the implemented functionalities. So how we accomplish this, we create so-called pull requests. Pull requests is a feature that allows developers to propose changes, commits to repository, and even more, it is possible to, as a part of a pull request, to organize reviewing of the created content and ask team member after the validation to merge those changes into relevant branch. So pull requests in a way facilitate code reviewing, discussion and collaboration among team members, and we will create 2 branches within our hands-on session, and we will merge them as a part of a pull request. It is not possible to demonstrate how it works on this official FS GitHub repository, as we are not authorized. So I will show it a bit later. And as we are in a collaborative environment, conflict can occur from time to time, and conflict is actually the situation when it is not possible to merge changes from different sources, different branches, or from different branches, or different files updated or changed by different team members. And here are some reasons why conflicts may arise. For example, if 2 developers modify the same lines of code in a different ways, and now we are supposed to merge the 2 files, and we simply don't know which line is correct one and which is, maybe it is better to say which line is preferable one. And also conflict can happen if one developer modifies a file and another developer delete it, or if a file has been renamed or moved, it is also complicated to track. So in these various situations, Git provides us with so-called conflict notifications, so we can manually go through, revise the conflicted files and decide on the proper content. And here we can see one colors file, one very simple line, which is updated by 2 different developers, and on a particular line, when the name of color is expected, one of the developers put green and the second one put white. And now when we are about to merge these changes, we are actually have a conflict green vs white, and we need to decide on the proper color manually. And we can see these special markers added by Git that indicates the conflicting part of the file. So that is something that we need to do manually, and that happens if, of course, 2 different people work on the same file, particularly on the same lines, or if we try to merge 2 different branches with different contents somehow that somehow overlaps. And the good news are actually that Git provides us with tools that can assist this conflict resolution. It is possible to check which files have conflicts after a failed merge. We can view detailed differences and conflicts as we saw on the previous slide, or simply launch a graphical tool to help us resolve conflict more easily. as said, this is maybe not as short as introduction as expected. So I shared some additional learning resources in order to stop here. Actually, the story about GitHub and underlying Git version controlling is complex and it's not easy to digest maybe from the first time all the concepts, but practice make perfect. So I hope that these links and these examples can foster these learning goals. As said, GitHub community is quite active and GitHub documentation is perfect. So I suggest to go through this get started section. There is Oh My Git game. So very interesting way to learn more about some Git concepts. There is my favorite Git branching animation. Actually, I can show how it works, and I hope it is visible. There are different set of tasks you can practice. For example, here you can see through different steps how actually you can clone or a repository, how you can create clone remote branch or perform the fetch new content from the repository, how you can pull or push content and go through the history. So a lot of small tasks with guidance. Simply there are instructions you can go through and later perform the actions that are suggested from the community. I will just complete it and return to this presentation. And of course, there is a GitHub skills repository that is a collection of GitHub short courses. And you have, for example, a short course dedicated to commit action or short course dedicated to branching. So different segments of the GitHub story are covered and shared with the community. And now I will firstly ask, do we have any questions regarding this part so far? Or shall we continue with our hands-on session? I'm not sure that I can hear you.
Thank you, Anđelka. This was so informative and very interesting. And I would like to invite you all, if anyone has a question now, please ask. Anyone? So I hope that you looked at the training materials before. There was an instruction on how to create an account on GitHub, which will be useful for you for this hands-on part of this session. So if you all have this prepared, perhaps we can move on to the next part.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what is the best way to go through this hands-on session. Does someone would love to share the screen, or I am supposed to create?
Perhaps you can show us hands-on how to create a repository, And this will be a
Mhm.
very, very good practice for those who haven't done that already. And then try to move some stuff
can
around GitHub,
we
perhaps.
mm. Oh, okay. We actually we can go to this official GitHub.com platform and log in by using our own username and password. And actually, the idea was to go through together through this Hello World example. Hello World is kind of first experiment, first we perform, or the first program we write when we encounter a new programming language or a new ecosystem. So the idea was to go together through this Hello World section of the Start Your Journey with GitHub tutorial. And we mostly work with when we are a part of a larger community, we mostly work with existing repositories created by some team members, well established, but it is also important to know how to create our own repositories and how to provide the content, and how actually to navigate around all these actions we discussed, committing, branching, pushing, pooling, merging, and so on. So the idea is to create a so-called Hello World repository within our own accounts. And here is a set of steps. So we should notice something which is called new repository. Then we should click on it, and we should name our repository as Hello World. Then we should add some description to our repository, select if the repository is public or private, add so-called README file, and click Create Repository. So it's not, sorry, I will, if it is okay for you, just stop here and move this to another window so you can follow it more easily. So here is our new repository button. Sometimes you can notice slightly differences in the interface within tutorials. Community is active and the interface is mostly stable, but sometimes some styling changes. So don't be confused. Here, for example, we have not new repository, but new button. And here we can see that this repository name a mandatory field, and I will type Hello World, the name of this repository, and it is always how to say, good to write a short description about the project, especially if it is a public project. I will simply type here Hello World. And here we have two radio buttons, public and private. And I will choose, for example, that this repository is a private repository, which means that I can access to it and only a limited number of people I choose as a collaborators. And of course, we can initialize the repository with so-called README file. README file is the file with the content we can see here. For example, this is the content of README file within FS repository. So I will check this option and add the README file to our project. And this gitignore, for example, relates to if we, for example, would like to prevent while pushing the content that some large images or some hidden files end up at our repository, we can list them within this ignore file, but it is in a way advanced feature. And after this licenses related talk within the workshop, you will see that there is several options for choosing appropriate license for the project, and I will skip that part for now.
You can just, Anđelka, sorry to interrupt. You can switch to showing a web page instead of a PowerPoint presentation.
Because we don't see.
we're seeing only we're not seeing actually GitHub.
Oh, sorry. I thank you for. Oh, can you tell me what do you see now? Can you see the new repository?
Not yet, but
not yet. Mm-hmm. Interesting. I'm not sure what. Mm-hmm. Thank you anyway, and sorry for this inconvenience. I will. Can you see the slides now?
Yes.
Yes. And can you see this create a new repository?
Yes,
page?
Yes.
Oh, perfect. And if I change the full screen here, I guess that we still see this create a new repository page.
Yes, that's the one.
So I will comment again. There is a repository name. It's. I'm not sure if you saw me creating actually new repository by clicking here on this green button. Anyway, on our main dashboard on the GitHub, there is a new button, green button. All important buttons within GitHub ecosystem are somehow green. So after clicking a new repository button, there is a form we should fulfill. Repository name is mandatory, so we will type in hello world. Okay, and we can type a short description.
Sorry, but we don't see it.
That is strange.
Okay, I'll try to share my screen because I've just done that.
Exit from the slideshow.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the solution.
Mm-hmm. Can you see it? Can you see the screen now?
Yes.
Yes. So okay, I will keep.
But still not the GitHub. We're still seeing the PowerPoint
presentation.
Mm-hmm. I don't know why
that's stuck.
Yeah. Never mind. Maybe I can.
Now we see the GitHub page.
It's a better to maybe work within the same window. I don't know why it's sharing.
It's working now.
Yeah, it is working now. Cool. So once again, we have this green button on the main GitHub page, our main GitHub page, which is called New. And after clicking that button, we hopefully can see this create a new repository form with mandatory repository name, Hello World. And we can enter Hello World project, something simple. And here we can choose between public and private projects. And I will choose, for example, this project to be private. And there are several options. We can add a README file. README file is a main file on the GitHub page. For example, I hope that you can see this FS page, FS GitHub page.
Yes.
And the content below this file list belongs to README file. README file. So if we check this option related to add addition of a README file, we will have a README file included as a part of our project. And there is this option to add a gitignore file. And we use this option to prevent pushing some large files or files of a specific type, mostly some hidden files or some configuration files that contains sensitive information such as passwords or important links. So a kind of advanced setting, but yeah, I'll skip it for now. And there is also an option to choose a license relevant for our project, and there is a whole bunch of licenses, and I will also skip it for now, but you can adjust it with the content of your repository and the purpose of your repository. So when we click on create repository, we will have one extra repository, which is called Hello World. And now we are the authors of, the owners of this repository, which means that we can create new files, upload new files, or edit existing files. For example, if we click on create new file, we will have an online editor. And we can do what we like. We can name our file here. We can type whatever we like, and we can or commit the changes or cancel the changes. And I will cancel the changes now and edit README files so it is easier for you to follow. So here we have this pen icon, and by clicking on pen icon, we again can see this README file. And I wanted to say that we use a specific Markdown language for the content of this README file. For example, first level headings can be recognized with one hash sign. Second level headings are recognized by two hash signs. We can bold or somehow style our content by adding these double asterisks or these underscore characters, or we can insert links or images, create lists. So it is very expressive actually, but in a way simple. If you are familiar with, for example, Wikipedia Markdown language, they are quite similar. So here in this panel, I will simply edit Hello World project from main window, let's say. And when we are done, we can click on this commit changes button, for example, and we can insert commit message, something that describes what we have done, and of course insert extended description. I will leave it as it is, update readme MD file, and I will click on commit changes. Okay, and now we can see the description within our README file is changed from the main window, that is missing. And if we return to our Hello World project, we will see actually that we have 2 commits. And if we click on them, we can see all the commits. The first one was the initial commit. Initial commit follows the creation of the repository, and update readme file is the update we had. And if we click on this commit description, we will see the changes. We have this one red line, deleted one, and one new green line. The red content is Hello World project, and the green content is the new content Hello World project from the main window. And again, we can, it doesn't make sense to comment on your own code. That is why we don't have this comment session available now. But here again, we can see this browse files button, and yeah, I'm betting that it is yeah, that is maybe enough to know for the editing of files. For example, if you would like to add extra files, you can click on these upload files and drag and drop them within this session. And again, write appropriate commit message, a short one and the longer one, and again click on commit changes button. So all the actions we described within presentation can be performed from the GitHub interface. Programmers, me included, prefer using command line tools. That is why I'm not so familiar with the interface itself. But yeah, we can make it. We can make it until the end. So what also I would like to show you how you can create your branch, and as said, branches are important for creating, adding new features in a safe and effective manner to your repository. And on this slide, we have actually instructions how we can do this. We will see we can click on the button named create a new branch, or simply go through the list of existing branches, and if we type the name of an existing branch, there will be an option to create the one with the name we used, and the branch we would like to create is so-called readme edits branch. And now I will go to this Hello World project again. And if I click on branches, for example, here, as I'm authorized, I can see this new branch window. And I can enter a new branch name. As said, name should be readme edits. And it is kind of a convention to use these hyphens between multi-word names. And after that, we can click on Create New Branch. And now we can see that we have two different branches, default one and README edits, default one, the main one, and our active branches is README edits. So it's not complex to create a new branch, and we also can see the new branch from this list, README edits. Okay, here is, and we can switch also to from main to README edits branch by simply clicking on the README edits branch name. And I will leave it as it is for now and proceed with step number 3. Now, idea is to change again README file, but this time not on the main page, not on the main branch, but on this README edits branch. And how we will do that? We will switch to README edits branch, and we have already did this. And we will click on README MD file on the option for editing, and we will create some new content indicative for this README edits branch. And then we will commit the changes, and this time the changes will be committed to README edits branch. So now I will edit README file from the README edits branch, Hello World project. Let's see, from the README edits branch. Maybe I can even delete, it's better. Hello World from the README edits branch. And again, when we are ready, we can commit our changes. We can click on the commit changes button. Again, we can commit, insert commit message, update README MD. I will put here from README edits branch, just to be sure that we have proper naming, and commit, and the commit will be directly to README edits branch. So I will confirm it. And now we can see that we have this Hello World from the README edits branch within README edits branch. And if we switch to main branch, we have Hello World project from the main window. So we have two different versions of the README file, one within main branch and one within README edits branch. Okay. What can we do next? We would like to open a pull request. Just to remind you, we use pull requests when we want to initiate merging of two different branches. And for example, we now would like to merge this README edits branch with our main branch. And as a result, as a consequence of this merging, we expect to have changed this Hello World README file and to have message appropriate for README edits branch. Okay, if we initiate the pull request, we will initiate the merging of these two different branches, so the content will be updated. if everything goes smoothly. And here are the steps. So we should go to pull request tab of our Hello World repository. And I will go step by step here. Just to be sure that Hello World repository, Hello World is here. And here we can see pull requests. So we will initiate a pull request. We will click on new pull request. That is also written in our instructions. The second step is click new pull request. So we will click on new pull request. And we can see here branches we have. We have base main, and we can compare the content of main branch with README edits branch. As you can see, there is one line within README MD file which differs between these two branches. Okay, so we are able to see differences between different files within different branches. And we also have this message that automatic merging is possible, able to merge. There is no any conflicts between these two branches. So what is the next step when we compare the content, and which is recommended to use to perform each time? We can create a pull request. That is the number 5. Click create pull request. Here is the button create pull request. And we can add a title for our pull request. And we can see the terminology is open a pull request. And we can write a more longer description, more informative description. I will just keep this original title, update README in the file from README edits branch. And I will click on create pull request. And I would like also to comment shortly on these options on the right-hand side. Here, when we create a pull request, we can assign these specific reviewing task to members of our team. And it is always recommended to validate the code before merging to the main branch. The main branch is the most important branch in the whole project, and the production is based on the main branch. So it is always recommended to double check the code that goes to main page. So here we have the options. If we are a large team, then there will be, here we could see the list with team members, and we could choose the person who we would like to revise, to review our content. And of course, there are options to create a set of labels. For example, I will show you on the existing FS projects that are somehow specify the content. Maybe something is related to design, something is related to some animations, something is related to some new features. So we have a possibility to define different labels and to influence the organization of our overall project. So it's better to use them. And of course, we are able to define different milestones for our projects. So different tasks can be a part of different milestones. As this is one very simple repository, I will initiate the creation of the pull request by clicking Create Pull Request. And now we can see that we have this pull request active, and we need one extra step to merge the content from README edits to main branch, and that is something we discussed already. The final step is actually to click Merge Pull Request button and to confirm the merge we would like to perform. So I will show you merge. Here is the merge pull request. I will click on it and I will confirm the merge action. And after this step, all activities related to README edits branch are added to main branch, and that is why we see delete branch as an option. Here, I will not delete this branch. We can do it another way, but I would like to show you that we merge indeed these two branches, and that now on our main branch, we see README file with Hello World from README edits branch, which means that we successfully merged these two branches. And of course, we have all the history within commits list, and here is also this pull request description with all relevant information about merging. And I also wanted to say that we still have this README edits branch. We still have it. We can edit, we can delete branches also from these branches panel. For example, we can delete branch by clicking simply on this recycle bin icon, and also we can see here this notification that this content is successfully merged. This is 3 dots somehow connected, is the icon used for denoting pull requests. And now I will delete this branch. It will take some time to update the interface, but we will not see the branch here anymore. So this was, I hope, a simple example that can demonstrate the capabilities of GitHub. And if we create our own repositories, we have more freedom, and we can use more options as create new files, upload new files. If we work with the existing project, publicly available project, we can only communicate issues within the project, and issues, as you can see, can be related to some enhancements, some bugs, or some particular line of development. And these labels are mentioned within on the right-hand side of the panel for editing we had previously, previously. It wasn't as short introduction as expected, but I will stop here and thank you for your attention. In case you have questions, please feel free to ask and to open discussion.
Thank you so much, Anđelka. I thought maybe we can perhaps mention something about how to add collaborators to your GitHub project. This would be the first. And the second one is, ideally, we would like to, if we want to share, if we want to use an open source project, for example, for a front end, let's say FS, we would like to, we can take the repository and work on a code in our GitHub project, and then we can deploy it directly from GitHub to our website.
If we have that option from our within our hosting services, it depends when we want to host our site. It is, as you said, if we would like to extend on the existing project, we can clone it and improve it or change it the way we like. And when we are ready, we can push, it's not actually correct to say push, we can transfer that content to our service provider, host service provider. So sometimes it is possible to establish that way of automatization. That is something called CI continuous integration. And when you can somehow download code directly and move it to the appropriate service, but it's not easy to establish. So if that is idea for the Serbian, yeah, we can.
No, I'm just thinking about the ideas.
Yeah, that part of deployment is actually a story on its own. And it is, of course, related to technologies we use within the project and the capabilities of our hosting services. And there are less elegant and more elegant ways to integrate it. But yeah, that is something that can be, we can think of for the Serbian version of FS.
Does anyone else have a question about GitHub? Or would like to show something?
Share experiences maybe, or... And this is actually the first time I'm giving talk about GitHub functionalities to non strictly technical communities. So please apologies. I had a kind of a stage fright at the beginning, so it influenced a bit the delivery, but.
It was greatly explained and we have no questions.
Thank you. You can count on my support over the course of the project.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks very much to Anđelka Zečević, also from us, for her exhausting presentation about GitHub. I would say that, well, probably the people who are now just starting to work on such a collaborative project as ours wonder what will be the place of these diverse stuff that will be we were showing for the past 2 days, and maybe they don't see the relationship between this and the EpiDoc content we've been creating for the last 2 days. But these are really inevitable skills that we should have if we want to develop our common collection of digitized inscriptions and to be on the same page while creating our regional selections from each country of digital inscriptions, and then putting them all into one, which will follow the same schema and everything else. So this will definitely be a part of our workflow in the future, and I hope, Anđelka, that we could have your help.
Yeah, yeah, you can count on that, on help and further stories about GitHub, of course. And as you said, each time we need to collaborate, we would like to collaborate with someone and enable simultaneous editing or annotations in your case, then GitHub is a good hosting platform.
And something that already is connected to something that we'll discuss in the next couple of days. Creating a GitHub repository can be linked to publication of an open data set on Zenodo. So we can also think about such a link in our case, because our data set will be particular. It will be created for the specific purposes of the project, and it will serve a specific target audience, which will be seen at the front-end outputs that we have, that we will have on the website. But it will definitely also find its place in this respect. To when we create our data set to then link Git and Zenodo and to
that's right. That is the option of course, and probably the easiest way to share it with the community. It is also possible to host different forms of archives, for example, zip archive and facilitate support easier download. But as you saw, when we clone the repository, we have the options to zip it, and the option to zip it and download it as a one large file. So it is very convenient for sharing data sets.
Yes. Okay. So how do we...
I will stop sharing the screen now, and my apologies once again for that moment of screen disappearing with instructions how to create GitHub repository.
Well, for everyone, Anđelka has shared her presentation with us, and it's already updated in the program. You have a link to the presentation, and I have inserted in the meantime the links that she provided for further training in all my Git and stuff like that.
My Git is my favorite
one. so you have already just check out the materials later.
Yes. Okay. Now we probably should proceed with the second training session, mini training session on something we spoke on in the morning, and I hope you didn't forget. But it is much easier, and it won't be that complex to make it just a small exercise on entering metadata into our already encoded inscription. I didn't ask anybody, but at least the 2 or 3 people that were bold enough to speak out did have already an encoded text of an inscription. And I think that most of you have trained with this funeral inscription that I showed you in the yesterday session. If so, probably we should continue with the metadata for the same inscription, just to have one full inscription.
Yes, one or two. We started with the two, one Greek and one Latin, and
Yep,
can work in there.
we can do a quick count. So you can just, like, by raising hands, you can show me how many of you are working on this funeral inscription for Cassius Felix.
I think all of us.
Yeah, if all of you are working on the same inscription, then great. And if some of you have chosen the Greek inscription, the logic is absolutely the same. There is nothing more complex in doing the Greek inscription, so no need to worry at all. Anyway, so I will continue just to use the information that you have here on the doc file shared, and it's quite convenient that the information is listed more or less in the same way that it will appear in our template. So no need to extract it, but I just wanted to show you. I don't think that I have EpiGraphist here, just to show you the way to extract the information from the
I can
from a paper.
I
Yeah,
have some scanned volumes that I can.
no, just one page, just to take a
okay,
look.
Okay. Do you have a favorite EpiGraphist inscription? Which?
No, I don't have a favorite.
Okay. Let me see. There are some scanned pages here and there. Okay. Philippopolis, and maybe choose. Okay, maybe not the.
And then I will just share my screen, and we will put information.
883. Is this okay?
Yeah, sure. So
You
yeah,
make it bigger.
In our case in Bulgaria, the largest and the the largest corpus of Greek inscriptions is written in Latin. So that makes it a little bit more difficult, and it's in quite prose text, really, in no strict order in listing the data. So from this prose text, you have to extract all the information needed and just put it in the correct place in your template. So this is a bit, it takes a little bit longer, but still you have all the information in here about the previous editions.
You're suggesting that we start with this, or
No. I'm just showing that, well, ideally you will have this very simple file. I will share my screen now.
Okay, now I'll share.
So if you have worked in advance on your inscriptions collection, ideally you will have something like that. The information listed in exactly the same order in every single file, just being in docs and not in XML file. And you will just copy the row number 1 and paste it in the correct place in the XML. But as probably the case will be in with most of our inscriptions, you will have to find them in different editions that are structured in different ways. So you will just have to be like, you will have to learn to extract the information as fast as possible when you work for a large collection. But now we have this funerary inscription. We begin with editor here on the document page, but before that, we have some important information that we have to fill here. And you see the comments we have made in our template for the encoder to know what he's doing and not to miss something important. So here is Zaglavie, and you need to put a title. As obvious as it looks, we still commented Zaglavie. And in our case, we use the XML lang BG because our
template works with this, but on the output now it says in the front end that we'll be using, you will see it says other language.
Yep.
And when we start working with all our languages, we'll tweak the front end to display Serbian, Macedonian, etc., with the language codes, the respective language codes, ISO language codes for with 2 or 3 letters.
Yeah, but for now, for this training session, you don't have to change this XML lang .bg because it won't make a difference. You can still write here in Serbian, in Macedonian. It will be properly displayed as other language. Just leave it that way. And let's name our monument, funerary, inscription, and so on and so on. The title should be the titles across a corpus should be consistent and should include similar types of information. For instance, funerary inscription from Philippopolis, with bearing the names of this and that. But the same type of information should be in all the titles. Anyways, that's Bulgarian, and I'm writing in English. Here you double this information in your language. About the editors, you see you have editor, personal name Nikolai Sharankov, and then in English Nikolai Sharankov. We have left it here because normally in our collection he is the main editor. So yeah, no need to.
I would like to point out here that once again we're talking about the title of your encoded inscription, the title of the file, not the title of the original publication from which you're drawing your information. This is what will be in the on the top of the web page of the HTML web page of the visualization. And here, Nikolai is our main epigraphist and reviewer of all the previously published inscriptions for the Telamon project. This is why his name is always present, but also sometimes if the publication is based on a review ex autopsia of a previously published inscriptions, the previous editors of the inscriptions, for example, Georgi Mikhailov, who has published IGA book, or yes, in our case, the first publishers of this or that inscription, this funeral inscription from Ratiari, this is Bogdan Filov, they should also be presented. Sometimes we have 3 or 4 editors.
In order to add an editor or to change the name, you can always just change the name here. But if you want to keep it, we'll keep it. And then, pardon me, undo. So here we had Bogdan Filov, and we want to add another editor. We just copy the whole section editor from the opening to the closing tag and paste it below and add the other name, Dimitrov. I will just write the English section so not to waste our time in doubling the information. You get the idea that here should be the other language. And you can copy it as many editors you have. So this is the title statement. Proper title should be consistent with the other titles in your corpus, and you should list all the editors, ideally in chronological order. I think so, at least. Then you have the publication statement. In our case, again, it is pre-filled, but we can change this information, and the authority would be Prometheus project. The date would be 2 years later, and the identification number is something that you have to, this is an absolutely obligatory field. This is the identification number within your collection. So it is not the museum identification number. This is your the identification you give. So if we are working with a brand new inscription that isn't a part of already published corpus, established corpus, we can have Prometheus one, for instance. That would be the file name. And when we later search for the file, this is what we will use. This is the name of the XML later, and this is its identification number. Then, what do we have here? The repository within MS identifier. Again, for our project, for Prometheus project, we should use this country and state that this is an inscription from Bulgaria. Or if you work on your own inscription, it is from Serbia, it is from Macedonia. Did you see me opening this empty element? So this is an empty element, and it stands here to remind you that you can use it, but it's not obligatory. And if you want to use it, we just remove the slash.
Yeah, and it automatically creates the...
Yeah, and it becomes an open element, and then you type inside.
Maybe we'll need this for Prometheus.
We will need this. Yep. So this is the country. You can have settlement as it was in the presentation, according to my memory, I'm not sure. And then you have alt identifier, alternative identifier, that would stand for the identification number within a museum collection. Here you might have one, or you might not have one. And again,
this is the web address of the institution.
Yeah, institucja. To remind you that here you have the repository, and the repository of this particular inscription would be National Archaeological Institute with Museum, and that's the abbreviation. And the reference that surrounds this prose text would provide, if you give a web address here, it would make this automatically clickable, and we will link to the site of the museum, which can be quite useful. So let me just find.
This is the link. I posted it in the chat. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the museum site. And here I'll just replace the address with the English version of the the site, because it's more useful for the user. And then you have identification number. Let me see this. Funerary inscription. And here is our identification number. So far, we have covered this. Probably I should color them. Yeah, we have covered this and this. And yep, here I'll just type the inventory number.
Even if we don't have an inventory number, it is found outside the museum's inventory. This tag should stay, and it should not stay empty without content. So just put a dash, because it will give you a faulty.
No, the faulty would be actually be here. The file name identification.
Yeah, because it cannot have a.
Here it is not that obligatory. And this is about the identifiers. And then we'll have contents, manuscript contents, again with useful hints in Bulgarian. For now, we will ignore this part of the code, and we will concentrate just on filling in the blanks. Жанр на надписа is to be found where? Category of inscription, funerary inscription, prose. Okay, again, we copy this.
We have our own taxonomy, which is found elsewhere. Tomorrow we will show you.
No, this is document type. Yeah.
This is document. Yeah, this is document type.
Yeah. Control V.
Not object type, so yeah, this should go.
Yeah. Funerary inscription.
You see how the comments come handy, even if you know almost by heart the.
And we paint that green. Then we have the physical description. Oh.
You click 3 times on it, you will see how. Well, actually, this is the most significant part of the MS Desk.
This is the most lengthy part and the most important part, as it is filled with the information about the description, the physical description of the monument, and we talked about it in the morning. But let's see, the support description is about the material, the object, and the dimensions of the object itself. Again, you ignore these references. We will speak about them tomorrow, but material in prose text should state something like marble, I suppose, but let's check. No, limestone. Let's type limestone. And then you have object type.
Yes.
The tag, the name of the tag speaks for itself, and the object type is stele. And then we have the dimensions. So here in our template, we have in our project, to be more precise, we have explicitly defined that our measurements are going to be centimeters for all the monuments. If there is some sort of inconsistency, you should state that in the documents for the whole project. And this way it will display in the site, it will be displayed as centimeters just by default. Otherwise, you have to define here unit, meter, centimeter, millimeter.
Yeah, well, this is what we have in our visualization scenario. It is not understood that every time you enter here some value, a unit is implied. It is not. So you usually have to.
Yeah, but in our case, it's
Yeah, we have made
centimeters.
our front end in such a way that it automatically adds this because it's always in our corporate, it's always one type of measure. It's always millimeters or
Centimeters.
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 We decided to visualize this by default, but you can have different types of collection.
So here I did the dimensions, height 266, and we type it once within the element, and again one more time as a value of the attribute quantity. This is necessary because this part is seen by the visitor of your site, and this part is for if you need to categorize your monuments by size or whatever you would like to do with the exact size. So this is machine readable, this is human readable. That's why you double it. Let's see again, width 87 and depth 32. So this is the most schematical way to give the information. You can have prose text within the support description, as far as I remember. You can add here, it's not just limestone, it's limestone with greenish elements or whatever. You can add information. You don't have to be limited by this and the we will speak about this tomorrow. So for now, this is enough. And here we have the layout description. You see the layout description has just an element layout. Probably because we didn't think it was necessary, but it is necessary to add here XML language Bulgarian, and then double this one more time as XML language English. And then we can have prose text here one time in Bulgarian and one time in English. Here, that is the information we have about the layout. I will fill it in the English section. So the text is divided, the monument is divided in 3 parts, the upper for inscription field, height and width with centimeters again. So if you want this height and width to be not only human readable, but also machine readable. If you want to compare the sizes of the inscription fields in your project for some reason, then you should encode these measurements as well. And then we will have height, quantity, $99, and not to double this height piece, I will just remove it. And centimeter, we said, is the default unit, so we don't need this centimeter as well. The platform would automatically add it. And then the same with the width.
Sorry, this inscription field we added by ourselves because I don't see it in the template.
No, this is the content of the layout element. So this is running text. You can do whatever you want here. You can describe the measurements of the inscription field or not.
Well,
maybe
yeah,
not applicable for all the cases.
if you want, you can describe the inscription field. The measurements can be within tags or within elements, or you can skip this part and leave it just as prose text if you doubt that this information would be needed at any point. And yeah, for now, I will just leave it that way with 51 centimeters. Actually, I think that the Telamon, the Ajax that we are using does not, might not read these measurements if they're enclosed in tag, but I'm not sure. So this is the layout description, prose text that may contain other tags for information you want to point out. Hand description, hand note. So here again, you can have prose text on the hand description, or you can have just the letter height. The height of the letters is 3
to 7. So can you remember what do we have to put here if we have 3 centimeters to 7 centimeters? You cannot have quantity because you have 2 values in the 2 extremes. And you cannot have an extent, for example, because this is not an extent only in the extent of a gap.
At least at most.
At least at most, exactly. So it's quite rare to have an exact quantity throughout the whole inscription. So here we will have at least 3 centimeters, and then another attribute at most 7 centimeters. Yeah, the attributes are, and you can just remember, although the XML, the Oxygen, the editor fills itself usually, you can just remember that normally it starts with small letter and the second part is with capital letter. At least, at most. So what else? Hand description. I think that width is layout description. We had that. And then we have desk, decoration description. Decoration description lives here. And again, we have a deco node without language. So we will have XML lang PG, and then, oh no, isn't that so?
Oh, fine.
Shall we, is the XML lang in here in the deco desk or in the deco node? I will briefly consult the TTL site, if you pardon me, because I simply have forgotten. The good thing is that you don't have to remember everything. And if you have short memory, as I do, you can always just check the other inscriptions and to see how it is done. I'm logged in. Yes, I am logged in. And I will see how this worked. Here, a sneak peek for Thursday, where we will show you how to edit your encoded inscription on the site itself. And let's see about the deco desk. Deco node is the one with XML lang. Okay. So here we have deco desk XML lang BG, and we will copy and have the same in English, and then we will paste the text here. A lot of decoration on this monument. A very nice thing that we have on this TTL side is a different authority list for the decorations, so you see them as lists here, but we won't do that for now. It's too much work. So here, that would be the deco desk. Now history. With that, the physical description ends, and here begins the history. We have the origin, and again, a hint. Добави в ref след хаштаг съответното ID от Oric Log.
This will tomorrow.
Oric plays with words within the element. And within the element, the Oric place was Ratiaria. And the date was second half of second, beginning of third. And we already told you that there is no unified way to know when the second half begins and the...
There is a sort of attempt to harmonize this across different projects. So this is your attempt at a gazetteer for historical periods.
In the chat?
Yes.
Yeah. So I give these two values, not before 150, not after 250. And again, the evidence, let's check. The evidence is nomenclature, and we add it here. And then we write this same information. This is machine readable. We add it again for the human eye to be able to see it. Here would be second half of 2nd century, first half of 3rd century. Then we have provenance type found. And here, this is specific for our project. And
yeah, we're kind of cheating here, but we have a very beautiful and very handy map embedded in our visualization, which is quite something.
Well, as far as I know, we shouldn't use XML base for coordinates.
No, this is why I'm saying we're cheating here.
We're cheating here. So don't do like us. Don't use this, but it works for us.
Yeah, probably it will work for visualization too if you use it when you have to put in the Ajax tool.
Yeah, it works for Ajax. We have made it to work for Ajax, but for FS, it will scream. That's absolutely wrong. Don't do that.
Well, FS has a different structure of the template altogether. So
yeah, correct. So here you can give the exact coordinates of the find spot. And if you have them, ideally you have them. And but you should write the place name here. And our place name, as far as I remember, is Archar.
Archar. This is the village of Archar, which is in the same place as ancient Ratiaria.
And yeah, we covered, I think, all of this information here. We don't have provenance types observed because the this particular monument lives safely within the museum and is doesn't have this complex history that some other monuments could have. So we will just leave the provenance type observed empty. And we will use it when we have a monument in the open or in a lapidarium that is not within the museum, or so on and so on.
Or something which was which was seen by the first editor or a traveler from the 18th or 19th century, which contains some different information from its current whereabouts.
And here, again, not to forget this extremely important part and to stress that this is extremely important, is the revision description. The encoding this description gives us a little bit of computery gibberish that we just simply don't touch them and leave it that way. But the revision description is the place where you should put your date and your initials, and then state what you have done. In the template, it's me, but yeah, just remove this, and we have saved the date format, though it's obviously somewhere in the past. But this is the date format as if we leave this as an empty attribute value. I cannot get used to this format, date format. So this is the date format, and you just correct the date. Here you have place.
Sorry, I changed it and I got red.
You did change what?
The numbers in the date.
The numbers it should follow this standard.
Yeah, year, month.
So
Yes.
the things you can change is instead of 2022, it is going to be 2024. The month is going to be 4th month.
Okay, yeah, I got wrong the month and the day, so now it's okay.
Yeah. The thing is that it's very confusing with this American standard, but that's it.
Oh, thank God it's not the full American standard, because the full American standard has the year, the day, and the month, which is then the month, which is even more horrible. But here, at least, when you Elena, when you changed the numbers, probably you've written 20th on the second place, and there is no 20th one. So it's programmed that the first number will have 4 digits for the year. The second number will be from 01 to 12, and the third number will be to 01 until 31. And anything else that you get will give you a mistake.
So about the images, again, it's quite simple. And here we have really small images. And what we can do? We can copy them, cut them, copy them. How do we treat them as JPEGs?
Well, for the beginning, we can, I don't know, check the names of the files and put them in.
Yeah, just let me.
Now we cannot do anything. Well, when we have the front-end tool, they will upload in the image directory, and it will link, hopefully.
No, not this. We should be able to do something with these images within. Anyways, if you know a way, because I'm not that familiar with Google Docs, if you know a way to open this as a JPEG file, please do tell me how to do it.
Not sure.
Me neither. I didn't think about this.
It gives an option to save it if you mark it, and it gives an option to save it as JPG, and then you could, I suppose, give it a name.
Does it? Where you
let me try.
But anyways, I can give you, or you can just use sample images just to see whether it works. The whole idea about the images is that they have to be in this JPG format.
Yeah.
And you can have them locally, or you can link to an online address. No, you should have them locally. And the name of the photo, let's say I have some images.
But in the template, you have option only for a URL. Is it a way to change it to or it will be from the address from the computer if you have it locally?
Yes. Yes. This is the attribute. I mean, it doesn't matter if you don't give a whole path to an internet address and you just give the name of the picture, it will load it locally from your images folder, which you will have eventually. You will see.
Yeah, here is
this is where
images
live.
And here you just link to your images with and you should name your graphic URL with the exact name of the photo. And we won't do this now because I didn't think of this beforehand to have some images to add.
Take down some images from this repository and we will share them with you as images somewhere.
Yeah, not as this.
Yeah.
Hmm.
No, I don't know how to do it either.
Me neither, sorry.
Once I incorporate an image into a text document or a PowerPoint presentation, I cannot then copy it back to, extract it back to its original file. Probably there should be a way, but I don't know it.
And that's about it with the first section. And then we have just 5 more minutes, just a quick scroll till the diffs, the divisions after the division that is div type addition that we worked on yesterday. We have division type apparatus and division type translation and division type commentary. That is commented out for no obvious reason.
No, you should.
Because it works only with P.
Yeah.
Okay, that is something that is just for the commentary, but it is...
Yeah, also for the translation. But there are some div types that work only with P.
Yeah, but leave the P.
If you see here in the apparatus, you have list up. It works as a list of items. And then you can do different, and you can have the head, which stands for what is the title of the list. In our case, that is letters in ligature. And then you have up, which stands for apparatus. This is the note in the apparatus. Lock, this is to what line of the inscription it points to.
Yeah.
So lock 1 means that here on line 1 there is some letter in ligature, and if you see the output, you will see apparatus, letters in ligature, line 1, this and this and this. Yes, something
and
like
then if you have more ligatures, you just copy this, and on line 5 you have IE, MP, and so on and so on. You just list all the letters in ligature. And yeah, here are our letters in ligature, not on first row, but on the 4th, there is an I ligature, and then again on the 13th. But we don't have to do it. Here is the place for the translation. Again, just copy the translation. And there's a small mistake here that I noticed. That the son actually lived 12 years, not 22. I noticed that in the evening. And here we add that up. No, we don't add this. We should add the translation. Pirane. And the div type commentary, it is divided into parts here, but to be more quick, we will just copy the whole part and we'll paste it here. And here you have different titles. You have prosopographic commentary and linguistic commentary, but you can add the titles, the head, later. And then we have list of bibliography. About the bibliography, you can have an authority list on the bibliography, ideally, or you can have just prose text in this bibl element and just paste. Where's the bibliography? We don't have bibliography here. But
make out the title if you wish.
Yes, here we will say.
Yeah, here this is another time that we've made our way around so that we can have some bibliographical items which are for the whole collection and will be added by default. For example, for the Greek inscriptions and the Latin inscriptions, there is a default corpus, plus some additional publications if we need.
Okay, so I'm making a title up, and that's it. You have all your metadata encoded, and it is time for us to finish. It was a bit quick, but I think that it's not that hard, and there are not that many complicated things. So this probably should be
try your hands on a different inscription. And along the way, we'll show you how to add also references to authority lists, and you may want to try to create an authority list of yourself. This is what we'll do, and then we'll moving on to front end, which should take a part of the afternoon session. Okay. So yeah, I think this is it for today. Any questions, comments? Anything that you are wondering how to do, how it will work, why it isn't working, or something like that? Well, if not, let's call it today.
Okay. So we'll see everyone tomorrow morning at 10.
Yes.
Follow the links in the
document.
Thank you all. Thank you all.
Thank you for bearing with us. Yeah.
Thank you very much from my side as well.
Thank you from our side. And okay, well then.
All right.
Tomorrow at 10.
Bye.
11 Sofia time. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.